Sorry, just realized I was muted. Sorry. So tonight we are painting the Hello There floral mason jar, and I'm really excited to paint this one with you because it's really versatile. Like it can be an interchangeable, it could just be on its own. You could put a monogram on it. It's so much fun. So let's get into it. So while we're base coating, y'all say hey. Let me know that you're hopping on. If you're catching the live in real time, just let me know you're here. But if you come in after hours during the replay, just say hashtag replay and let me know that you came to hang out with us after we were finished. We will still carry on the conversation with you. All right, so let me pull up my live while we're chatting. Make sure that, okay. Oh, we're right there. Look at that. How are you doing? I am excited to be painting with you tonight. We didn't do a Mystery Monday this week. We were feeling a little under the weather. Wasn't feeling the greatest. Wasn't feeling bad, but it was one of those days where you're like, it's probably best to rest. And I didn't even, I don't even think I cooked that night. I can't even remember what happened on Monday. Monday feels like a year ago. Does anybody else feel that way right now? Monday feels a year ago. Okay, so starting off strong, we're going to pull Jadeck Glass. Okay, I don't know if I'm saying that right here. Let me go full screen. I love having face-to-face time with you, but I think you would like to see the project a little bit better. So let's do that. Let me do that real quick. Go here. Let's put me in the bottom. Okay. There we go. We can still see each other. That's cool, right? That's cool. All right, so we're going to go. Y'all do as I say. Don't not as I do. That's a pig painting no. Don't do that. But if it makes your heart happy, go for it. You're going to end up using more paint that way if you do. But just be aware. I'm going to spritz it with some water. Hey, do you mind helping me out and filling that with water? It's almost empty. I know I won't use all that, but just to be safe. All right, so this is Jadeck Glass. It's kind of a muted minty green. I love this color. I get mine at Hobby Lobby, but some people have to order theirs online. But I love this color. There's a couple of colors that are similar to this, but they're all, to me, they're all different. As an artist, you know, it's just the thing that you just know all the colors. It's hard for, but I have a hard time describing colors. So if someone was to ask me what's it like, and I'm like, I don't know. My best way to describe this color is like a muted, dusty mint green. It's not quite a pastel, but it's also not a bright. So it's just a little muted. And I think it's really good for like spring, transitioning from winter to spring, which is about the transition that we're in, which is why I picked this one today. So, okay. All right. All right. And if you're wondering why I'm spritzing it with water, it just helps make it go on smoother. We have a really big surface to make all this paint spread out. And if you since wood is very porous, and let's remember wood's job before it became our blank, before it became plywood and it became our blank, its job was to soak up water to make the tree live, right? So it still kind of wants to do that. It still wants to do that job. So it is sucking up all the moisture out of this paint as we're putting the paint on there. So I like to add a little bit of water when I know I have a long way to go. It helps keep the viscosity or the fluidness. Hey, Anna. It's helping it just spread out a little more like it's supposed to. Okay, like I said, this wood wants to soak up all this moisture from the bottle, from the paint from the bottle. So we want to add a little bit of water as we go. I don't like dipping my brush in water to do this. One, because it's a bad habit that right now our water is clean, right? But after this base coat, it won't be. And if we were working with a different color, that color would be incorporated in this, and then it would just get murky. You can get lucky sometimes and it not really make a big difference. but it does make a difference nonetheless. So I like to have a spritz bottle for many, many, many reasons, but this is one of them. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. If you notice, I'm not being too persnickety about keeping it out of the places where it's not supposed to be. I don't care about all best as I can, but also doing as good of a job as I can on this base coat so that I can get to the fun part, right? All right, so I'm just going to smooth out my brush strokes, and then I'm going to dry this real quick. And then we're going to put on a second coat just for good coverage. I'm going to get y'all to where you see the majority of this. All right, and then let me, until this thing starts taking shape, let me put this here so that you can kind of see what we're working on. All right, so now I need, let me bend over and grab that. How are you doing? It is what? Today's, if you're catching the live while we're live, it's Thursday. But if you're catching the replay, it's any day past Thursday, right? Unless you're catching it on a Thursday. Caught you for a bit getting ready to leave, so I will catch you again on the replay. Thank you, Karen, for popping in and saying, hey, you were so tough. Oh, girl. We're just slinging paint, and we're just lucky that the paint goes where we want it to go sometimes. What is going on right there? It's okay. We're not here for a pageant, are we? Nah. All right. So we're laying down a good base coat of this jadeite, whatever that is, glass. You can use Limelight or Light Line. You can use really any base coat color. Why is it blurry? You can use any base coat. There we go. Base coat color that you want. Hey, Michelle. Hey, my free. What's up? You can really use any base coat color that you want. Come up with your own color scheme. I've got just some really fun springy colors over here, but I don't want it to be super bright pastel springy because we're still in that transition from winter to spring. So I kind of want to keep it true to that so that it will go a little further and it won't look so awkward hanging outside of my door being so bright. It's not quite time for bright colors here where I live. We're still in it's very dreary. We get a lot of overcast days, which are my favorite days. I love rainy days. I love overcast days. They make me so happy. I'm the only one of my friend group that likes likes dark, overcast, rainy days. All my other friends life harder. And I don't run unless it's for a good deal. And so the rain doesn't bother me. I like to stay inside unless I'm in my garden. I love going outside to garden, but even on a rainy day, gardening can still be fun as long as it's not lightning outside. Rainy day just means I don't have to go outside to water or anything. All right, we're almost done. I want a firm foundation here, okay? If this is about half dry, if I were to go to put a second coat on this now, there would be patches. It would pull up the little patches of paint that were still a little wet. Even if it was dry to the touch, if it was not bone dry, I would run the risk of adding frustration to my craft time, and that's not what we're here for, right? I'm in Nashville. We're picking up an EMS to add to our training center. An EMS, like the truck? Like you're getting a truck? That's a big deal, Marie. Like you're getting a transport EMS truck to do trainings in. I'm very impressed. If this is true, I'm very impressed. I'm not even gonna say low key excited. I'm like high key excited. Really excited for you. That's really cool. So my friend Marie, she has not only does she have a paint party business, but she also has a EMS training service where they do CPR trainings and like all those certifications that you need for different types of jobs and organizations. They're the people in the Nashville area. Yeah, in the Nashville area, the Clarksville, Nashville area in Tennessee. They're the people that you want to call to get that done. And then her other side of her business is a very, very lucrative paint party business. She's a rock star. And she's a rock star mama. She raises two amazing kids that are like surrogate cousins to my kids. Especially my little Becca Boo. Okay, so here we go. Oh, I still have, okay. I need to make a note of that. Okay. Sorry. A thought just came to my head of something I forgot to do. All right. So again, this was not near as much paint. I've dipped my brush in paint twice. Okay. I did a really good first coat. All I'm doing is knocking out these brush strokes. Okay. And I am going to, and the water is helping this spread out even like smoother, right? So I'm just boop, 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 just laying this background on real quick. I'm not giving it two thoughts. We just want a nice smooth background because we're about to make this real cute and dainty and girly. Hey, Melissa. Wait. What did Hey, Tammy. Tammy and Marie, haven't seen you girls in a minute. What have you painting today? We are painting a mason jar that we can either make as a monogram or we can make it an interchangeable base for, our springy stuff. So I think I'm going to make mine an interchangeable base just because that's my jam. I don't like to put monograms on a whole heck of a lot because a lot of times my sister and my friends come shopping my stash. So if I put a monogram on it, then it's definitely nothing that they want to take with them. And then also I like to gift things to local retirement communities is the word that I was looking for. Let's see. I'm trying to get this to where my hand. Let's see. I want to paint this light gray. Let me see if I have one. We're going to go gray sky. We are picking up the people who work there. They are through the college right now, but we want to switch to us. It's a lot of people. We are picking up to see. Ooh, that's fun. I mean, a truck is fun too, but that's cool too. I wish it was a truck. That would be so cool. And thank you. You're girl. No thanks needed. No thanks needed. All right, so we're going to just grab a flat brush, not as big as my base coat brush. My base coat brush is 2 inches wide. It's my favorite base coat brush. I get them from Folk Art. It's about the only Folk Art brush that I have. Everything else I have is Royal and Langnickel. They're my favorite brand. But those Folk Art brushes, those base coat brushes, they're just cheapy. I get them at Walmart. I get them in a 2-pack. I think I pay like $4 or $5 for them. They're amazing for paint parties. Amazing for paint parties because look how fast we base coated that. A lot of times I've been to paint parties like as a guest and you get like a brush that's just a little bit wider than this. That thing is this wide. I love it. You really don't want one that's too terribly wide because it's not as versatile. But that one right there, you can paint a large piece with it. Or you can paint a small piece with it and it's not overwhelming. Get any bigger, then all of a sudden it's really just for 3 inches is really just for, large pieces. It's overwhelming trying to paint with a 3-inch brush on a 6-inch ornament, That one right there is a good sweet spot. All right, like I said, we are just painting a light gray on here. And if you put the word mason jar down in the comments, I will link all the colors that we use here tonight after the live. So the word mason jar, I'll come back after the live. It doesn't matter if it's tonight. I don't care if you're watching it 3 years from now. If you put the word mason jar down in the comments, I will come back and I will give you a buffet of links to anything that we talk about. So say we talk about this template or where you can get the wooden blank, which is Home Creations Milling and Signage. Amazing company. Or if you want the color list without having to sit and take notes or say you have to pop in and out because you're making dinner right now. Don't feel like you have to watch the whole daggum thing just to get the colors that I picked. So if you put the word mason jar down in the comments, I will come back after the live is over and link all the things from whatever we talk about, including, but not limited to, the color list. Becca says hello. Hello, my Becca boo. All right, so we need to blow dry because that needs a second coat as well. We're just laying firm foundations for all the things because we're about to have so much fun painting flowers and little whimsy, wispy curly cues and adding some polka dots, maybe even a little distressing. I haven't decided that yet. We might get, let me see. Let me see if I've got a chip brush over here. We could chip it up. Oh, I want to paint tonight. Me too. That's why we're painting. I almost painted earlier this morning and I was like, nah. Mr. Wallace is home today. So I know while he's cooking, I know I wasn't going to have to cook tonight because when he's home during the day, he usually cooks that night. He's grilling tonight. So you're going to hear the door open and close constantly, which is fine because I know after all is said and done, I'm going to have a delicious dinner that I didn't have to cook, which makes it even more delicious, right? Can I get an amen on that? All righty. So we've done a light gray. We've done a mint green. Like I said, put the word mason jar down in the comments. I'll come back and link the exact color names of everything that I have, that I've used. And like I said, I'll also link anything that's pertinent to this design so that you can recreate it on your own if you so choose. So how's everybody's week going? Everybody having a good week so far? Everybody kind of getting a little spring fever? You got at least decent enough weather to where you're not having to lug around the big heavy coat anymore. At night here it's in the 30s, but during the day it's somewhere between the upper 50s and 60s, and it's just beautiful. It's such a comfy little temperature outside, and it makes me happy because it's cold enough that you get that little brisk air in the morning that's just welcoming, but it's also not so cold that, like I said, you got to lug around that big old heavy coat anymore. See. I've spent most of the day designing, and which is one of my favorite things to do. And I've got some really fun designs coming soon, and I'm really excited about it. I designed some paint studio stuff today. I kind of brainstormed some new designs for us to paint here on the page. It's going to be a fun spring. And but talking about spring, if you have not signed up for this and gotten your free designs for this yet, did I miss Mystery Monday? No, you didn't, because it didn't happen. I wasn't feeling the greatest Monday. I got home from school and Monday was it was one of those I could either overdo it and probably make myself sick, or I'm sorry, I got the hiccups, or I could rest and be like the best version of myself the next day. And I just kind of, I gave myself the out, I guess. So, but no, you did not miss it because it didn't happen. But what I didn't want to miss was painting with y'all tonight. So I made sure that I was on my A game today, that I didn't overdo it too funny. I wasn't for sure. Just take a personal. I still went to school. Which is, where I felt like maybe I overdid it. I feel like it was a mental exhaustion more than it was an actual sick. My whole body just couldn't get up and go anymore. Like once I got home, I sat down. And have you ever been in one of those moods where you just sat down and all of a sudden you just you've lost all the motivation to move? It was one of those moments. And I felt like if I overdid it, I could I feel a little like ugh coming on. So I was like, you know what? Let's sit down. Let's watch a movie. So Raylyn and I watched a movie. At school, we're doing a bunch of this is still a little wet, and that's not that big of a deal, but I don't want to drag my arm through it. I get them all the time, Anna, and I guess that's just part of like all the things that I have going on physically and medically with myself. But like a lot of times I can talk myself out of feeling that way. But the second I sit down, it's like it's game over. Like if I sit down and I concede to the loss of the day, it's game over. So we sat down and we watched a movie. Hey Nicole, I see you popping in. We watched Raylan 6, and so I'm starting to introduce her to some of those nostalgic, like a little bit more mature movies, but not, they're definitely not out of her range, but they're more live action movies. So she loves Labyrinth, right? She's loved Labyrinth, the one with David Bowie in it. She loves Labyrinth. She's loved it since she was a baby. She loves that movie. I need a polka dot. How big of a polka dot do we need here? Let's see if I've got one that big. But this time I was like, you know what? Let's do a Cinderella movie, because at school, that's what we're working on, being aware of all the different versions of Cinderella and what makes a Cinderella story a Cinderella story. My friend, she does an amazing job at teaching this, and I just every time we open a new one, I'm just so in the mood to keep learning about it. So I was like, you know what? Let me introduce Ray Lynn, little Miss Ray Lynn, to a Cinderella story, because she thinks Cinderella is just Disney, right? So let me move this out of the way. I don't need this. And so I was like, you know what? Let's watch Ever After, the one with Drew Barrymore. She loved it. It was a little over her head, which I knew it was going to be, but she loved it. Okay, so should we do some distressing, or should we just go straight into polka dots? Because I got a polka dot dauber here, which is a little smaller than I think I want it to be, but I think it's going to work. She remind me of the Babe with the Power. That was one of my favorite movies growing up. I know every song by heart. I could recite the whole movie front to back. Like it's a scary situation watching it with me. And what's weird is I have friends that have never seen it before, and I'm like, where were you during the 90s? Like, where were you? Like, this was a one that came out late 80s, and I started watching it when I was really little, and I just loved it, and I've never stopped watching it. And I introduced it to Raylan because of the soundtrack. She loved the soundtrack, and she actually learned the songs before she watched the movie, because we listened to the soundtrack in the car. And I told her, well, it's from a movie, and so she wanted to watch the movie, and that's how that obsession was created. But I felt like it was time for her to learn about Ever After. And if you have not seen it, I believe, was it on Hulu or Netflix? I think it was on Hulu. It's on Hulu. That is your homework tonight. If you love, I won't even say that if you love romances. It's not even just about it being a romance. I mean, obviously, it's a Cinderella story, so there's gonna be, a prince and a girl that is oppressed by her family, all that jazz, right? But it's a period romance. Like, I'm trying to think of the time that it never gives you the year, but you can kind of figure it out if you know history well enough. But it's set in France. Let's see. Love that show. And hello, Cynthia. Me and Becca love it too. I think I'm going to go straight in with polka dots. And if we distress, maybe we can distress over the polka dots. Y'all let me know if we should. Do you think we should do some chippy? All right, so here's what I'm doing. I'm kind of drawing my polka dots. And I'm kind of scared. Okay, yeah, no, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. This isn't as big as I want it to be. And that was a really thick polka dot. So I'm going to lay down a polka dot, and I'm going to use that to kind of like distress over. You know what? I'm with you, Marie. I think that's what we're going to do. because I want to bust out that chip brush. This is looking good. Okay, that one needs to be a little bit bigger. So we watched that Monday. So we just took it, like you said, a little mental health day. Just kept ourselves from overdoing it. And she loved it. I feel like I'm just going to do like a quick little, there we go. That's behind some flowers. I'm not worried about it. Okay, let's see. There we go. You could definitely use a stencil if you want to use a stencil. You can use, if you have a polka dot dauber this big, definitely do that. You can hand paint these. You know, that is not my jam. So I'm not gonna opt for that. I love these. I feel like they're the best little cheat sheet. If you got a tool for it, use it. And that's what I'm doing. This is just a tool to help me get to the result that I want. And I want a pretty piece to hang on my door later. So I don't care how I get there. If I have to use a tool and not my own ability to paint, that's cool. Guess what? I'm getting this done way faster if I would have hand painted it. I've got some friends who like, they only hand paint these, and I'm like, more power to you. I want to paint flowers more than I want to paint dots. So there's no shame in either one of those games. Okay. Oh, it's turning out so good. I love it. I love it. All right, there's some partial dots that I'm going to have to do, but I feel like I'm going to need to do some barriers, like some painter's tape or something. I could always just go paint over it, I guess. Let's see. Give me a second. I'm I'm hyper focusing on where my polka dots should go. A little polka dot there. Remember, that's going behind some flowers. I'm not worried about it being perfect. See, there's a partial one that's going to peek out from behind that flower. So I'm just going to kind of like placing them here, and I'm just keeping them in line. Let's see. Then maybe a partial one here in this line. Oh, you can't see that. Well, hey, Peggy. Miss Peggy Crafts a Lot. How you doing? How are you doing today? It is a beautiful day here in Louisiana. We had a beautiful, almost spring day, which put me in the mood to paint a springy-ish design. We decided this was going to be a good transition from almost that fall? No, winter into spring. It's going to be a good transition because they're kind of dusty, muted, springy colors. They're not the bright pastel colors yet. We'll do that for Easter, huh? But these are really good muted colors, and we're kind of cheating here with a polka dot sponge, getting our dots going. Go. And then let's see, we need one down here. I think just a little bit of a peekaboo, but we're going to do it in this line. There we go. Ooh, I like it. We do need a little peek. Well, there's a little peekaboo one there, but I don't think it's showing up as well. There we go. All right. Sometimes you just need to float one in there. Again, there, we've got these flowers here, so we want to make sure there's a little peek of this color going everywhere. We need a little peek of one right here. And don't forget, if you put the word mason jar in the comments, if you want to know all the colors that I'm using, you want to know the exact shade I'm using, just put the word mason jar in the comments. I'll come back later after the live is over, and I will give you the complete list of colors. Let's see. I'll also link, like, if we talk about anything special that you might want to be aware of, like we have a free virtual paint party coming up. If you want to know anything about that, I'll link that as well. You get free designs, you get a free design, free tutorials, and it's a week of painting. Like it's a fun-filled week of painting. It's totally free. You don't have to purchase anything. The door hanger design is for your use. You know, you don't have to, like I said, no purchase necessary. All right, I'm just gonna put a little peekaboo there. We got a little bit on our grate. That's okay. I'm not gonna stress about it. I'm gonna throw this polka dot dauber in the water. We're done with it. And I'm gonna grab my brush again, and I'm going to grab my gray, and I'm just gonna touch that up real quick. We're gonna touch it up real quick. Okay. I'm ready for the virtual paint party. Lori, it's gonna be fun. It was fun for me to paint the first time by myself. I can't wait to paint it live with y'all and enjoy it with y'all this go around. Spoiler alert, Lori was with me when I painted it the first time. So she was already, I mean, she wasn't watching me paint it, and I was just painting and talking, and she was talking, and there was a whole group of us girls just having a good old time, and we were all painting we were just having a little girls' day. I think that one's going to be a little too muted down. That's okay. We'll figure it out. I didn't know I was on my... Oh, girl, don't worry about that. Continue on. Look, I am never going to... No, I'm not that girl. I'm not that girl. That doesn't bother me one bit. You just stay on your business page. Look, it's hard enough to realize if you've got to switch over from one to the other so that you can see your friends versus your business comments. You just look, no sweat off my back. That just means you were doing some work before you came and hung out with us. Look at you being all productive. Hold on one second. We got some dry, like I said, we've got some thick paint here, so we're gonna dry it out. And I think we're gonna do a little bit of distressing. I think we are. Speaking of movies, I watched for the first time. Well, there's a couple of movies I've watched for the very first time. They're older movies that I've watched for the very first time. One I avoided because I thought it was going to be so much more gory than it was, and I don't do gore. I mean, there was a lot of devastation, but it wasn't the gore, blood, guts everywhere that I thought it was. That I built it up in my head for like the last 20 years. But Mr. Wallace made me sit down and watch Desperado the other night. And I'm not gonna lie, one bad. It's not one that I would have picked on my own. Obviously, I haven't for the last 20 something years since it's been out. But it's something that he likes, so you know, I'll let him pick the movie for the night. And it wasn't bad. Kind of makes me want to watch the next one because it has Johnny Depp in it, and I like Johnny Depp. So we're probably going to watch that, not tonight, but soon. Another movie that I watched for the first time at my entire life, my sister loves this movie, but I've never watched it, was Fried Green Tomatoes. Have you ever seen Fried Green Tomatoes? Okay, so first your homework is go watch Ever After, the one with Drew Barrymore. We talked about that earlier. It's amazing. You gotta watch it at least once in your life, especially if you're a girl. Like you can't speed past it. Okay. I've never watched Fried Green Tomatoes, and I feel like I've been gypped. I feel like I've been swindled out of something my entire life. That was an amazing movie. Like I kind of wish I would have read the book now before I watched the movie. And I think I want to go back and read the book now. Not today, but soon. I think it's gonna make it to my TBR. Oh, I got someone else. Woo! She likes fried green tomatoes too. All right, so we said we were going to distress this. I think there. Yep, see that right there, still a little wet. We're gonna let's blow dry that. That one right there was our thickest one. It was our very first one, and I feel like we need to. It needs to be dry before we move on. Shayna says she likes it too. My sister loves it, and okay, so Graham and I last night we were talking about certain movies, Labyrinth being one, Fried Green Tomatoes being another one. Like in our household growing up, we had a cabinet that housed all the movies. Not this is all before streaming services, right? We had a cabinet that had all our movies, and you go pick the one you want, take it to your room, watch whatever. But there were certain movies, just a handful, that were like my favorite movies or my sister's favorite movies, or my brothers had a couple that were their favorite movies. Those just tend to live in our rooms. Like Labyrinth lived in my room and never made it to the movie cabinet. Fried green tomatoes being one of my sister's favorite, it never made it to movie. I never watched it because it was just always in her room. But she and I didn't have a lot of the same taste. So if it lived in her room, it was probably because I didn't want to watch it. So I just assumed I never wanted to watch that. And I'm kind of mad because it was amazing. So fried green tomatoes, highly recommend. It makes you want to laugh. It makes you want to cry. It makes you angry. Like you get really like you want to riot. But like it's a really good movie. And I was shocked that Graham had seen it and I hadn't. So he was like, oh, the night that it came up on the screen, I just realized this is really wonky and it's bothering me. The night that it came up on the screen to watch, okay, I'm just taking a chip brush and we're just gonna add some distressing. I feel like I did a little too much, but that's okay. We were talking about something and we were trying to figure out what we were going to watch, and that popped up on the screen. I was like, there's one I've never seen. He goes, you've never seen it? That's it. He didn't even give me the option of if I wanted to watch it. He was like, that's it. We're watching that tonight. I was like, you really? Like, I was shocked that, to me, it just seemed like from afar, never having watched it, right? It just seemed like a little bit of a girly movie, right? I was wrong. This is an everybody movie. It does talk about two female best friends, right? But that's about as far as that goes. Gives me like Dixie Chicks vibes because there's a, y'all know the song that Earl that the Dixie Chicks have. It like reminds me of that song so much, parts of it. But other than that, it's really good. I'm gonna go and eat and shop a bit. Tell me what you get. Tell me what you get. I want to know what you're buying, or at least what you see that's interesting. I want to know what's interesting over there. All right, so I'm just distressing it in two different directions. It's going to give it a little bit more visual interest. It's also going to distract from the fact that my polka dots are not perfect, okay? Like I said, I didn't have the size polka dot dauber that I wanted, and I didn't want to bust out I do have a stencil that's this big. I didn't want to bust that out. I wanted this was supposed to be an easy, fun paint night of no stressing, and getting my stencils out because they're right down here. It's an awkward grab. Didn't feel like doing that tonight. So we just went about our own business and we hand painted those with a smaller polka dot dauber. And it turned out absolutely amazing, in my opinion. If I do say so myself, I am a little biased. Ooh, I like this. Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. There we go. Look at that. Look at the distressing. I feel like that needs it's a little unbalanced. There's a good bit here, but this up here looks a little unbalanced. There's going to be some words that go up here. I still feel like, just to err on the side of caution, I have the lightest touch. If you wonder how I do my chip brush and how I don't put too much, like I did there a little bit, and you can't see that. I did there a little bit, but it's not too bad. There's going to be flowers on top of that. I'm not too worried about it. But if you're wondering how I'm keeping it kind of balanced as far as pressure goes, that's the key, pressure. You don't want it to be too terribly heavy-handed because it's going to drag in one spot and be completely bare the rest of the drag. Hey, Marilyn. You caught us just in time. We just finished the background. Now, in the template, or in the mock-up, let me say in the mock-up, there is buffalo plaid up here. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know. I feel like the distressing was not in the mock-up. So I feel like it would be a lot. I feel like it would be a bit much visually. So I'm gonna sit on that for just a second. I'm gonna just park that idea for just a second. I'm just cleaning up my edges here. Like I said, if you put the word mason jar down in the comments, if you're wondering what colors am I using, the exact names of the colors, I'm using Deco Art Americana matte acrylics, right? But if you're wondering which green is that, what mint is that, what gray is that, put the word mason jar down in the comments, and after the live I'll come back and I'll link all that. I'll come back and link it to everyone who writes it, no matter if you're watching it today or if you're watching it 3 years from now. Hey, Terry. I know, I'm loving it. I'm loving how it's looking. We voted on whether or not we were going to distress it, and I'm glad that we chose to, because I think it does add a good bit of visual interest. Now, y'all know me. We're gonna add some shading, right? Hey, Lisa. How's your hubby doing? How are y'all doing? I haven't seen you in a hot minute. In fact, I haven't seen you in almost a year. It's been almost a year. No. I saw you in July. I was thinking of the retreat before that, when I saw you and your husband over in Missouri. We had so much fun. I loved that one. I want to go back to that one. That one was fun. I might go to that one back. I might go back to that one in the summer. Myself to it yet, but I think I want to go back to that one. You're doing it good. Y'all survived the Mardi Gras season. Y'all are closer to it than me. I'm North Louisiana. They're Southern. They're a little bit more south than me. Although we do Mardi Gras a good deal here. Like, we have big parades and all that. It doesn't get rowdy, though. It doesn't get rowdy. It's pretty tame up here. It's very family friendly. Did you get the baby? You know, I didn't have not one piece of king cake this year. Not one piece of king. But I also didn't really do the Mardi Gras thing this year either. I'm normally really big into Mardi Gras. And this year, I didn't participate. I didn't. And I'm not even one piece of king cake. And it really didn't make it hard on me this year because it rained every day we were supposed to have a parade. Now, parades go rain or shine unless it's lightning. But I'm not going to sit out in the somewhat cold and get cold to the bone waiting on a parade. I can watch it on TV. What you been up to since the last time I saw you? You know, just a whole lot of nothing. Fighting being sick, not necessarily like ill sick, but just, you know, little sinuses here and there, little colds here and there. Other than that, not a whole heck of a lot. You know, just some studio shenanigans, really. Today I did a lot of designing on my iPad. I stayed home all day and it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. We still have a little piece of king. I'm send it this way. Don't do that. But I did have a cinnamon roll. That's close. It's close. If you like the sweet ones, right? There's always the cream cheese filled ones and the cinnamon roll ones. I always avoid the cinnamon roll ones when we get king cakes because I'm like, it's a cinnamon roll. I can have a cinnamon roll and enjoy that. I want like the blueberry cream cheese filled, or my sister likes the praline one. I'm not big on praline. And I know that's an oxymoron being from Louisiana and not liking pralines. They're just way too sweet for me. Okay. Well, now we've got the distressing that we have our background in. This one had pecan. So you got the pecan praline one. I like it, but I can only have this much. The praline part, it's because it's all sugar. It's just too sweet for me, and it like gets me in the jaw right there, like kind of like sour stuff does. Sweet stuff does that to me. Oh, there was no. It wasn't too sugary. Oh, I want to know where you got yours from, because the ones up here they pile on the sugar. It's like a glaze, and I like sweet. There's just something about a king cake. I don't want it to be too terribly sweet. Okay, so let's do flat. Let's do our leaves. Because our leaves tuck behind our flowers. I think I'm going to use sour apple and I'm going to ghost it out. Ghost it out is just my fancy, not so fancy way of saying I'm adding white to it. I'm going to just lighten it up because it's really bright. I'm going to add a little bit of white to it. So yeah, we didn't participate in Mardi Gras too much in this house. Now the kids had some stuff going on at school. Raylan had what they called Louisiana Day instead of Mardi Gras. They did do a little one of the grades at her school, one of their projects was to make a float, but that was not her project this year. This year her project was a taste of Louisiana. And so she got to taste all the like etouffee and gumbo and crawfish. All right, so we're going to zoom in a little bit. And we're just going to do a base coat of this green and white mixture. Now, this is a completely new shade of green. This is not messy painting. We will be doing a little bit of messy painting here in a minute, but I want to do a base coat of green before we come in with our messy painting. Messy painting is just my way of adding visual interest without working too hard at it, okay? And I'll show you that in just a second. Okay, so I'm just base coating these leaves, giving myself a good little wiggle room. Let's see, I think there's only 2 sets of leaves on here, and that's a beautiful thing because sometimes leaves are hard to paint. Sometimes leaves can be a little overwhelming. I take back what I just said. They're not hard to paint, they're overwhelming. Some people have a little bit of anxiety when they see a leaf and they're like, oh, I'll never be able to paint that. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Anything worth it is worth practicing. And leaves are just one of those things. Okay, there we go. The glare of that light and the wet paint are catching it just right. But don't you worry. You'll be able to see that in just a minute once that paint dries down. It doesn't take but a minute for it to dry down. Okay. Raylan is outside playing on the swing set. Grandma's outside sitting, enjoying the weather, watching her. So if you hear little thumps and all that, that's just her outside playing. What did Graham get you for Valentine's Day? Oh, I have the sweetest story. Let's see. Okay, let me see. Where do I want to start? Okay, so now I was a little toot this year for Valentine's Day. And I sent him a TikTok that said it was a guy saying, hey, husbands, come in close. If you haven't asked your wife to be your Valentine yet, there's still time, and don't think that she doesn't need to be asked. She does. Don't assume you got that one locked down, right? So I sent that to him just as a joke. But I did mean it too. Hey, there she is.
What are you making?
I'm making a mason jar. Watch out, this screen is still wet.
What's a mason jar?
A mason jar? Do I even have one over here?
Yes, you do.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's the mock-up, but a mason jar is, whenever I get flowers and I put it in a glass It's usually that. I usually put it in a mason jar.
Mm.
It's just a storage jar. Your salsa, your hot sauce comes in a mason jar.
I need to go back and cook.
Okay. Oh, she's cooking outside. The doctor I worked for got a chocolate covered. Those are so good. I didn't have any this year. Usually,
Who's cleaning?
huh?
Who's cleaning?
Who's cleaning?
Daddy.
Daddy's cleaning.
Yeah, I said it was time.
Why don't you go play on the swing set before it gets too dark? You know he's gonna make you come inside once it gets dark because of mosquitoes.
Yeah, right. He said it right now. He said it.
Well, why don't you go to my room and watch a movie while I'm painting?
Mama.
Please? Please? You know, if Daddy hears me ask you go and you don't, he's gonna come in here and he's gonna tell you in not so nice ways. Okay? I'm so sorry. Miss Nancy says, "Hey, beautiful."
Hi.
She goes, "Hi." She's disappointed because I won't let her stay. Okay, no, don't lock Daddy out. Do not lock Daddy out. All right, go watch a movie or go play. Okay, that's what I thought. That's a good idea. So, hey, Cindy. Raylan, Miss Cindy says hello. So, okay, I'm just adding white to my dirty brush. Dirty just means I have my base coat color on here. So he walks in the day before Valentine's Day with grocery store flowers, which are my favorite. Don't spend a bunch of money on flowers for me. Grocery store ones are just fine. Okay. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to turn down a nice bouquet being hand delivered to my office or whatever. But we've been married for 11 years now. You don't go spending the money on that, But he bought me some flowers, and the second he walks in, Raylan just so happened to be standing right there, and the look on her face, she goes, and I look at him, and I look at her, and I nod. And he understood the assignment without a word being spoken. And he looked at Raylan and he goes, "Will you be my Valentine?" And it was just the sweetest little thing. And for me, it was the thought that it was just the thought, right? Like, I don't need it was cute that he took my advice and was like, "Hey, I still need to be asked to be your Valentine. Don't just assume that I'm your Valentine. I've got options over here." That's what I told him. I was like, "I've got options." But he when he walked in and she had that look on her face of, "Oh, those are for me." And I just look at him, I look at her, and he's like, and he just turned and he goes, "Will you be my Valentine?" And it just made her night. And then he did tell her and yes, he did get me chocolates. He gave them to me and he said, "These are for your mama, but I'm sure she'll share them with you." So, I mean, it was sweet. We've never really done gifts for Valentine's Day. Just because I don't want to spend the money. I'm the funny one about that. I was like, I'd much rather you get me a gift just because. I don't want you to get me a gift because it's Valentine's Day. Flowers are one thing, Flowers are one thing, but don't go spending a whole bunch of unnecessary money just because it's Valentine's Day. Whatever, You can buy them for me on the 15th, but no. So, yeah, we did that. And then what else? Oh, and then today we got to spend the whole day together, which was really nice. He went to the grocery store, so I didn't have to. He's cooking tonight, so I don't have to. But he enjoys that. So it's not really a burden to him. I don't know why I keep pulling this out of the water when I don't need it anymore. Okay, so we did some messy painting with the leaves. And now we're about to go in with how do I want to do these flowers? I think I'm going to use an angle brush. Here we go. he's very sweet. He's a sweet, sweet man. He's very sensitive to my needs. When I send out a flare, which was the TikTok the other night that said, you still have to ask me to be your Valentine, but I don't want to have to ask you to ask me, what's G Money cooking? G Money is cooking chicken. Let me live through you tonight. He's grilling chicken because I did not want hamburgers. He said, I'm going to grill hamburgers. And I said, I wish you wouldn't. There's just something about hamburgers when he grills them. They're done, right? Like they're cooked, but it's like they shrink up. And I'm sure it's the meat that we're buying as far as like the lean fat content. I don't think we're buying lean enough meat. I think that the fat content is shrinking up really good. So they get real plump in the middle. And so like there's, I don't know. They upset my stomach sometimes. And I'm just like, I'm not up for an upset stomach tonight. I love his burgers. And sometimes he'll make them and I'll just put them in the microwave to zap it just one last time before I dive into eating one. Because they are delicious. But I was like, I just don't want to upset stomach tonight. So he said, what about chicken? I was like, yes, I'm down for some chickens, especially grilled chicken. I love grilled chicken. So he's doing a whole chicken on the grill, which he loves to do because he gets to sit outside and just chill with the dog. Let me see. What color should we do? I know what I'm going to do. I know exactly what I'm going to do. So let me tell y'all what I did here. So right here, while I paint these flowers, see this? See how there's like this line right here? So I cut this out on my laser earlier today. And I made my file, and I was talking as I was making my file. Why is my sister calling me? Can you call my sister and tell her that I'm live? Because she will call a million times. There she. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I don't want to. Can you hear me? Okay, good. Okay, good. So my sister will call and call and call. She does not understand the dismissal of a call. She doesn't understand that, like, hey, that means I'm busy. So she'll call again. Now, usually when people do that, that means there's an emergency. And there might be an emergency, which is why I had to Graham call her. Is there an emergency? Graham. But a lot of times it's just because she wants me to answer a call. So I'm having Graham check to make sure there's not an emergency while I base coat this with y'all. Okay, perfect. You can hear me. A lot of times when I get a phone call while I'm live, it will knock. Being nosy. But yeah, okay. It seems like it's okay. He's taking care of it. But yeah, sometimes when I get a phone call, it will knock the sound out. So I have to switch it real quick to make sure my sound doesn't go out. So, but yeah, what was I talking about before she called? I don't remember now. Oh, that line. Okay. So the line on my blank that I cut, this is why I should just order my blanks from Home Creations. All my blanks are provided through Home Creations. If you need a blank that I'm painting, I promise you're going to find it at Home Creations. All my designs are housed over at there through them. They have amazing quality, single line SVG'd files, and beautiful wood. Beautiful. Like you can't beat it. And usually when I paint, I'll just cut my own out because I have the file, right? Like, but I still have to create my SVG. Well, I was talking to Graham, old G Money, old Mr. Wallace. I was talking to him, spending time with him while I was doing it, and I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. That was the other thing I did today. I cut out a lot of blanks for painting next week because we have that virtual paint party coming up. Y'all don't forget, virtual paint party, February 19th through the 23rd. It's going to be a blast. You don't want to miss it. Free door hanger files and tutorial. Put the word mason jar in the comment, and I'll make sure to link it along with the color list that we have going on tonight. But I was talking to him. I got distracted. We were like real in depth in our conversation, and then all of a sudden I go to cut this out on the laser, and I see it cut. I see it cut this part. I see it cut right here instead of just etch. I see that get cut, and I'm like, oh, what is it doing? I was like, you did not have permission to do that. And then I told myself, I'm not recutting this thing because that's a lot of wood right there. So we will fix it. So this would be definitely one that I keep for myself, or my sister comes and gets, or, this will definitely not be gifted to one of the facilities that I gift mine to, just because I feel like, although they may not care about that, that's not how I want my quality going out looking like. But just to hang out and paint tonight, I don't see why we couldn't. So what I did was I took some scrap wood and I got some wood glue and some super glue, and I did a little glue cocktail, and I glued the two pieces together. So if it looks a little wonky, that's why. Okay, so we've got a base coat of our just a nice little mauvey pink here. I love this color. Like I said, if you want the exact colors that I'm using tonight, put the word mason jar in the comments, and I'll come back and I'll link the actual names of every color that I've used. But now we're going to go in with some messy painting. Okay, which just means we're going to take our base coat color and dirty our brush and add a second color, usually white. Okay, and I'm just going I'm just going to start throwing some petals in there. This is what's going to create our petals. Well, I guess you need to talk to Graham anyways, because they are just talking up a storm out there. Sounds like some car talk anyways. Y'all know him. He's a car guy. He works for a car dealership selling, reeling and dealing some automobilins. Okay, like do. Now, once we finish this one, we'll move on to that top flower. I like to do things in layers because I feel like it helps me keep things organized, one, but it also helps me not have to not messy, but fussy paint. What's the background color? That one I did name. It is Jadeite Glass. Jadeite Glass. Just because that is one that some people can find in stores. Some people have to order online, but I love it. I like it that way. It really makes it look like the lid is separate. It does. I do. I thought that too. I was like, well, maybe. And then I got to brainstorming some really cool ideas. I was like, I wonder how, like, if we were to make it this way on purpose, how could we use it? Like, why would we make it this way? Right. I love these. I need to practice my flowers more. Well, get your mixed media out, or I like to practice on these. It's just craft paper. It soaks up the paint just about the same as wood does. So you kind of get some drying time practice as well, like working at the speed you need to work at while things are drying. What was I saying? Oh, but I was brainstorming. I was like, oh, how could I do this? If I were to do this on purpose, like cut this thing in two pieces up here, like this is two pieces, but it was not on purpose today. It was by accident because I wasn't paying attention to my SVG whenever I put it in my laser. But if I were to make it two separate pieces, why would I do that? And so like I was just being creative, and I came up with a couple of things, but I don't want to tell you now because I might show you later. But I was like, oh, that would be so much fun. Yeah, no, I was like, oh, but I was really bummed when it happened. Hey, Jerry. I was super bummed whenever I saw the laser cut that little piece out. And I was like, oh, that's not supposed to be cut. It's supposed to be etched. That's what I get for talking and working at the same time. All right, so we're going to pull a pastel yellow. Okay. Any pastel yellow will work. Don't stress over it. There's a couple of good ones. I'm not a big fan of bright yellow, the actual color bright yellow. I feel like it needs to be thickened up with some white, but that changes the color. So why have bright yellow if you're going to have white to it anyways? All right. So I've got a pastel yellow that we're going to use. I'm going to move over to a bigger brush because it's a bigger flower. Slightly bigger, but big enough. I'm getting a heat. Ooh. Oh, this one? This one? I thought you had one because you sent me mine. I thought you had one. Don't tell me you sent me one before. Ma'am. I probably should have done a white base coat on this. Okay, so here's where we're just doing we're base coating this. Let me, my head's in the way. I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Let's do it this way so my head's not in the way. You will love it, Jerry. Yes, you will. Ma'am. We're going to have a talk about that. I mean, I do love mine. Not going to lie. So Jerry sent me my heat tool a while back, and I've loved it ever since. I have had it in my cart forever, and I just wouldn't push the buy button. So Jerry pushed it for me. And it was a surprise in the mail. I got it in the mail, and I'm like, I didn't order this. And I go to my Amazon link, and I'm like, yeah, it's still in my cart. Like, it's still in my buy later or save for later cart. And I'm like, I didn't need it, but I will. Ooh, why do we need it? What's in the works, Jerry? Why do we all of a sudden need it? She goes, I bought you two before, because she did. She bought me one a while back. And she and I both learned a lesson that they make different versions of this. I didn't know that. She didn't know that. And she was trying to gift me something, surprise me. And it was the European version. And then this one is, so if you do purchase one, okay, this is word to the wise, okay? If you do want to purchase one, make sure you're buying the American version and not the European version. I learned they make all different versions for it, but the European version gets mistaken for the American version all the time. They look identical. The only thing different is a little sticker on the box. So look at the product pictures and make sure you're getting the American version. I'm excited. What do you need one for? Are we going to be doing some more painting, Jerry? I'm excited for you. Okay, so we have a bright yellow. Let's try to do sometimes yellow and white, trying to accent with white when you have a very pastel yellow. It's really hard. The white just doesn't show up. We're going to try. Worst thing that we can do, worst thing that'll happen is that we dry it down. It doesn't work, and we dry it down and we paint over it, right? So we're going to dirty our brush. Okay, that just means we have our base coat color, on our brush. We're going to add a second color. I'm going to add a generous amount of white. We're just going to messy paint this on here. And I can already tell you, I don't think this white is going to show up. But I accidentally just picked up some green. So that's good. That happened. I don't know. That we'll let it dry. We'll see how it works. We'll see how this pans out. I probably should have done a second coat of yellow on here. Go. Let's add a little bit more white. I think that might work out. Let's try it. Let's see it. Don't ever look. Let's see. I will. Oh, you're teasing me here. I'll tell you in March. Okay. Putting it on the calendar. I'm gonna be looking. Okay, so we've got. Usually white doesn't work. You got to use a good bit. Okay, a good bit. You can't be skimpy on the white when you're messing with yellow and you want a messy paint. Okay. I still feel like it needs a little bit of, like a little to it. I feel like a little bit of color is missing, but I think we're gonna leave it alone. I think we're gonna let it be. Let it be. All right, now let's work on those words. Let's work on. Okay, I like painting down here, so we're gonna flip this around. I'll paint my words upside down. They're etched on. Let me show you all the back. I told y'all about my faux pas earlier. So this scrap wood, I just took scrap wood from like a project that got cut out. This was like the inner pieces that just fell into the laser. I just picked them right out of the laser, and it was like, I'll just make those braces for the back. See, maybe coral in the yellow. Oh yeah, okay. So I was thinking either coral or like a mustard yellow to kind of give it an accent color. I'm going to let it completely dry, and we'll figure that one out, because I do think that it needs a little something. Otherwise, we're going to need to use some paint pen, and y'all know that's not my jam. I don't mind using paint pen, but I don't want to use paint pen on just the flowers. And we're going to do some shading. So I don't want to do both. Okay, so where's my filbert brush? I like to use a filbert brush. This one's not my favorite one, but my other brushes are MIA because I had them packed away. No, I know I can see them. They're right there, but they're out of my reach. This is black. So let's see where my black paint is. Got a couple of different black paints going on over here. Hey, Maria. I haven't seen your name pop up in forever. Hey, Ginger. Okay, so we've just got black. Just any black will do. They're all pretty much, you know, easy going when it comes to black. Okay, so I am. Okay. I don't like painting letters. All my friends that are hand letterers, like Marie and Christy, and they I'm not jealous because I don't care to hand letter. But I do kind of wish I had a little bit of talent there, because this wouldn't freak me out every time I go to do it. Hand lettering just freaks me out. I'd much rather have my paint pen. This is where paint pen really makes me happy. Everyone can't stay long tonight. Just wanted to watch while I can. Oh, thank you for hopping on, Cindy. We'll see you in the replay, okay? There we go. Now I will tell you, thin out your paint when it comes to black paint. What happened?
I slipped on your sock.
Oh, you slipped on my sock? Yeah. How many times did you see that sock on the floor?
Like 3 days.
Well, that's a lie because that sock's only been there since today. But I'm sure you walked over it multiple times. Did you think about picking it up? She ignored me on that one. Huh. Wonder why. Go ahead and shut the door, baby. You don't have to latch it, but just shut it. Daddy's going to be in and out.
Ooh.
Right? Isn't it pretty?
Mom, how are you doing it like the same way?
Like with it being upside down?
No, the same way as the picture.
Because it's etched.
Oh.
Because it's an etched blank.
Yeah,
And it just makes it easier.
Yeah, and also, it seems like you're doing it easy, but it's not.
Why isn't it easy?
I mean, not.
You think it's hard?
Yeah.
This isn't hard.
Wait. Can I see what it says? Are those E's?
Mm-hmm. Those? No,
yes.
those are L's.
And so what's at the top? Oh. That oh. Okay.
Oh.
Oh. I said oh.
Hello.
Hello there.
Good job.
So you're spelling there first?
Hey, tell me about your AR test today.
It was great, but I couldn't find a book. I took the air test and I got 5 out of 5.
Good job.
But I can't find the book in my desk.
Because you brought it home, remember? We read it again at home.
Mom.
Yes, ma'am.
You forgot to bring my car to school.
What?
For real, that car, the yellow car. That has 3.
Oh, well, it's not due till tomorrow.
Okay, now we decide to my teacher.
What? Oh, well, she'll survive. You want to go outside with Daddy?
Yeah,
only for a little bit. Mosquitoes are out. Come on, baby.
I'm going to thin out my black paint because now I'm going to use a round brush. Hey, Cindy. So I'm using a round brush because these are thinner. Okay, that was a filbert brush, and they're a little stick. That they were easier to paint with a filbert. This is a round brush. And I'm just following the etched lines. I am not a hand letterer. Hand lettering freaks me out, not because it intimidates me, just because I just don't care. I don't care. Power than some letters. So that's why I always opt for etched lines. If you're one that you're like, I don't care to learn how to hand letter, but I do like to have pretty wording, get the etched line version. Home Creations is really awesome, and they allow you to pick whether you want your own sentiment being the wording. I call those sentiments. Or if you want just the etched lines with no words on it, right? No sentiment. And so they give you both versions as an option. Like you can do etched lines with the words or without the words. Add a little bit of water to my black paint. The water evaporates for some reason in black paint, so I have to reapply it every so often. But when you're transitioning from thick to thin to thick to thin, a thinner consistency. We've got that door being open is inviting all the little critters in. Thick to thin, having a thinner consistency, not super thin. Just want a little bit of an inky consistency. Just a little bit of an inky one. Nothing too soupy. Don't want to load up your brush too terribly much because you don't want that water to spread. Hey, Leanne. I don't like hand lettering. I'm telling you. Now I do like to have. Well, I've noticed that in most of your pictures that you upload in the Paint Studio, they don't have words. I just realized that. Huh? Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Avoiding the letters like the plague. She has some of the cutest little creations that she makes. She painted the cutest. Was it a bunny? I think it was a bunny that you uploaded in the studio not too long ago. It was so cute and cuddly looking. Terry's a very talented painter. That's what I make my own word stencils. See, I would prefer a stencil. And I do. Like, I like to make my stencils, especially like this hello there. This is a generic sentiment. Like, I would probably use this on multiple different things, right? I love a good stencil. I would have cut it out had I thought about that before. But I always tell myself, oh, it's just so easy to etch it on there. And then by the time I have to hand paint it, I'm like, why did I do that to myself? Why do I make myself crazy like this? I know I don't like painting words. I don't know why I am the way that I am. I will, a lot of times I'll tell myself, I'll come back and paint the words later. And guess what I don't do? I don't. So I just suck it up, buttercup, and I just get it done. But I'm telling you, I am, every fiber of my being is wanting to do anything else but this part right here. But I am thankful that it'll be one letter to go and it'll be done. Okay. One letter to go, people. You can, okay. So here's my thing about having a laser and making 3D elements. That just means I have to clean my laser that much more. Y'all, I'm just a quirky person, okay? There's just a lot of quirks going on with your friend over here, okay? I don't want to have to clean my laser that much more because I made 3D cutouts, and for so many hours you got to clean your laser depending on what material you're cutting. And so because I'm cutting wood, you already have to clean your laser so often. And if I cut 3D cutouts, then it would force me to have to clean it even more. All I want to do is make the pretty things. I don't want to have to do all the technical stuff. And honestly, cleaning your laser isn't that hard. I know. I'm a mess. Y'all picked me, okay? Y'all picked me as your friend, okay? So I tell Graham all the time. It's like, look, you picked me, okay? I'm not saying I didn't pick him, but like, I was like, he asked me to marry him twice. Like, you asked me to marry. You knew what you were getting into when you did that. I don't think y'all quite knew what y'all were getting into when you hit the follow button, but you're here now and we're friends. So just love me for me. Okay, here we go. Oh, sorry. I'm a mess tonight. I've had 2 cups of coffee. Oh, my hand lettering is just so all over the place. Kind of wish I would have opted for a paint pen at this point. I'm holding my breath on this. Okay, there we go. I think we're good. I learned my lesson the first time. Oh gosh, what lesson are we learning? Hold on. That's it. We clean 3 times a year. I cut wood all the time. I'm telling you, mine just gets sooty. I don't know what. Well, and I don't clean my fan as often as I should. I'm a bad laser mama. I learned my lesson the first time. I cut my words out on the laser, and then I paint them. And I would rather cut and clean the laser than paint words. Oh. So Cynthia, you're with me. You at least we're here together, right? Like you get me in the fact that this right here is like pins and needles for me. I'm Lisa. I met you in person at SA Live in Destin, and I love, girl. I love you too. I'm painting words now while watching you. Well, don't hold your breath like I do. On my face, I can tell it. It's red because I'm over here holding my breath. All right, so we've got words on there. If they're not stellar, they'll work. No big deal, right? But the fact that we use paint, now we're not going to have to be real careful about our sealer because we didn't use paint pen. If you use paint pen, you got to be very careful. I do want to add some marigold to that. I do want to add a little. Ooh, someone said coral. All right. Should we do a coral color in our yellow flower, or should we do like a mustard color? Y'all help me out on this one. Coral, like adding just an accent color, because I don't want to have to add paint pen to this because I feel like this is perfect. I prefer the look of paint over paint pen. Yes, me too. I do too. Terry says coral. I paint my words on on always and not etch, but I mostly use tracers. Okay, so you transfer it with graphite paper. See, if I do that, now when I do that, a lot of times I won't trace the entire word. Like I won't do like the outside of the lettering. I'll just do like stick figure lettering throughout the thing, and I'll let my brush. But that's me trusting my brush. That's me trusting my You're braver than me. I don't trust myself with the brush and letters, but when I do, that's how I normally do them. I get the graphite paper. I'll do like, while this is drying over here, I'll do like one line down. I won't like go all the way around the H. I'll just do one line down, one line across, and then I'll just take my brush and I make that pencil line. I make it the center of my brush stroke. Does that make sense? Yeah. Oh, we do it the same way. Look at you. Look at us. Look at us just being twinsies. Hold on. I'm gonna move my head because I feel like I'm in the way. Okay, there we go. Okay. So let's see. Terry said coral. I found my magnolia fell from my customer adding her shop name. Oh, I can't wait to see it. Yay. You know, I love a good magnolia design. Obviously, I love a good, even in my ring, there's magnolias. I love magnolias. Y'all don't mind my hand. I did not get mauled by a cat. I got mauled by a rose bush. I cut all my roses back and I didn't wear gloves because I'm a rebel. Coral or what again? I missed that. Okay, coral or mustard. Like usually whenever I add a deeper color to a pastel yellow, I use a mustard. But someone, I think it was Terry earlier that mentioned, maybe it was Jerry, someone said coral. I think magnolias are just so cool. Okay, so we're getting coral, like unanimous. It was coral. Okay, let me find a coral. It didn't have to look for it. Nope, that's orange. Stand by. Mm-hmm. What? Oh wait, that's a peachy coral. Let me see if it's over here. Yeah, you're letting the critters in. Ah, right there. That's orange. Why are all the oranges looking coral? There's a coral. Okay.
I'm making gumbo outside.
You're making gumbo outside. Is it real gumbo or pretend gumbo?
Pretend.
Pretend gumbo?
Yeah, I'm kind of using good stuff to make my gumbo.
Isn't it pretty? I love this mason jar too.
Mom.
Yes, ma'am. I'm listening. I promise I am listening.
You're not finished.
I'm not, but I'm almost done. After this, all we got to do is some shading and we're done.
No, you're not. The only thing that you need is to make this darker, and also I need you to do and
She's not being kind.
no, I guess I am. I need to make the white darker, and also remember, look at the top. Yeah, it has this.
Ah,
Grandma,
little
you're
buggy.
letting on the crate again. Even the tree frogs.
even the tree frogs. All right, there we go.
I know they
Are
like
y'all ready? Hey, Miss Brenda. Yes, the coral. I think we're gonna do the coral. All right, so I have 3 colors on my brush here. Okay, so let's do this. Add a little bit more white. I still want white in there. Y'all don't freak out on me. What, Raylin? Is it a mosquito hole? Oh, it's a moth. We're good. Just because y'all keep walking in and out of that door. Daddy's grilling. Hold on one second, y'all. Okay, hold on. Let me bounce. Okay, so there's our first coat. Okay, y'all don't hang with me. Okay, hang with me. It's all gonna come together. It's all gonna come together.
Guess who's with us today?
Who?
Mr. Bear.
Mr. Bear.
Mr. Bear.
Mm,
Oh, that's what I call you, Mr. Bear.
okay. I'm determined to make this coral work, y'all.
Man,
Because I'm on board with you here.
I think that you're doing a great job.
Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Bear.
You're welcome.
And let's do a center. What do we think?
Maybe it's missing some, stripes.
This color is looking very similar to this color, which is going to pull it together, but I promise you it's a totally different coral.
Yes, but Mom, look.
I see.
You're supposed to put squares up.
Yeah, we opted out of that because we felt like it was going to be too busy.
Yeah, so you're not gonna do that part?
Nope. And that's the beauty of making it yourself. You don't have to follow.
The paper.
Nope. You can do your own thing. It's gonna have a little green in it. I just know it.
Ooh, why don't you not use a beauty flower?
A what?
A beauty flower.
What's that supposed to mean?
Like
I like that. I'm gonna stop.
I meant like.
I reached. I was like, the center isn't centering. So I was like, and then I got it. I'm good. I'm happy with it. Yes, ma'am.
I meant like the colors of the rainbow.
All right, let's blow dry, and then we're gonna get to shading. What?
I meant like like a color powder like with all the colors of the rainbow.
I didn't want all the colors of the rainbow. Ray, Lynn, Marie,
Some got on it.
Ray, wipe your hands before you get it on your school uniform. All right, go play. You got a little bulb there. She just
I used
Man.
these at school.
she
I used these at school.
yeah. I love you. It's time to stay inside, okay? Why don't you go play in your room?
Dad, I'm looking outside.
I mean, you can look outside, but don't go back outside.
That's what I'm saying when I can come back out.
Okay, so let's get some shading going on. It won't take too terribly long to shade this because it's a lot of just outlining. So we are going to, let's see, let's get an angle brush. You know, that's my favorite way to shade is using an angle brush. That one. Now, what color? Do I want to go a little darker than the background?
I need you to stay right there so no more critters come in.
No more critters. That is bright green. That is not what I want.
Dark green?
No. I don't want, baby.
Just looking.
No, that's too blue.
Oh,
Stand by. Right? I'm so sorry. I'm not.
No, I meant the blue. It's blue.
pulled out.
How can I not use blue?
I had a very specific blue, and I'm looking for it. Watch. I think I'm just dancing all around it.
Like a Minecraft colors like that.
Oh, that's a funny. So we painted. Let me show y'all something while I'm looking for this. We painted. I'm gonna switch over to this one. We painted this in the paint studio this past week, and I was so proud of this one. I was so dark green. Oh, thank you. I think it's a pretty flower too.
Is it this?
Right, stop. I think I have just the color. All right, so I'm gonna go with Terry's suggestion. Let's do dark green. So I painted this in the paint studio, right? And both my kids go, "Why is it Mardi Gras colors?" I'm like, "It's not. It's not. It's so not." And then I got to looking at it. It's purple, gold, and green. It's Mardi Gras colors. I didn't try that. That was not. I love it. Was such a pretty one, wasn't it? Well, the black is just a background color, Raylyn. All right, you need to go on for real this time. Okay, so we're gonna do a darker green, but not so dark. We're not gonna do super dark. We're gonna do a darker. We're gonna do let's see. Oh, this is going to tie in the leaf color a little bit. What do y'all think? I don't like that one as much. I think I need to go a different shade. We're going to clean that up. Think about having everything completely dry. You can erase. Let's go. No.
Oh, slime.
She has slime over there. Oh, she's gonna be.
It's really sticky.
It's slime. It's supposed to be sticky.
No. Yesterday it was not this sticky.
Is this the same color I was using? Nope. Right here. Okay. Here we go. This is a little bit more, it's darker, but it's a little bit more olivey toned and not bright toned like the last one we were just using.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh my goodness gracious. All right, let's spritz it again. Oh yeah, much better. Much better. So instead of using a paint pen to outline, I like to shade. I like to add just a little bit of shading to around the edges of things to just add some visual interest. And it's usually my last step. It takes place of the paint pen. Normally, if I'm not shading, this is when I would add the paint pen. And if you want to know where I would add paint pen, look at the mock-up. I give you paint pen lines in that. So if you do want to do paint pen, or if you want to do a liner brush, it does give you some suggestions on where to put that. Okay. So I never leave you hanging on that, but it's just not my preferred end result for me. I don't mind a paint pen for, adding the letters for when I don't want a hand letter. There are some accents that I feel like paint pen is just, it's just the tool to use. But because paint pen, it smears when you go to seal it, unless you're spray sealing it. I don't like using paint pen because it never fails. I always smear it. No matter how careful I am. There are some tips and tricks that I like to give out.
Did you say tricks?
I did say tricks.
Because I have tricks.
You have tricks?
Yep, with slime.
With slime. That yellow really makes it pop. I love it. Me too. I like the yellow. The yellow was inevitable. Like I wanted yellow. It was the outside flowers that I struggled with when I designed this one. because I knew I wanted the yellow flower. I just didn't know what accent colors I wanted to go with that yellow flower. So if you notice, I'm spraying as I go. I'm not spraying the entire thing. It would just be a waste of water. It dries, the wood soaks it up. And I really want, I don't want to have to like reapply more than I have to. So I just apply as I go. And usually I don't have to do more than one pass. Especially on a darker color like this that has really good contrast. Let's see.
Uh-oh.
And all I'm doing is I'm just pushing this paint around. By adding water, it lets me push it, okay? It's laying the lightest little layer of paint on here. So it starts off kind of heavy, but as long as it stays wet, you can push it around. I'm not super precise with it. I let it go in and out. I'm not trying to get a perfect, I don't know what we would call that. Like a, huh? No, you're not quite sure where you were going with that. I'm not trying to get like a perfect border. I just want it to go, I want it to look kind of not natural, but fluid. Poor Raylan. She wants to play so bad. She wants her daddy's attention. And he is cooking. No, baby girl. It's just gotten too dark outside. You're going to get eaten up by mosquitoes. So this spray bottle I got from Hobby Lobby. You can get it from Amazon too as well. It's just a fine mister. Some of them say ultra fine. I have a friend that gets hers from the beauty supply store, but hers is a continuous mist. And if I'm base coating, that would be really nice because I would just have to press it once and it just sprays and sprays and sprays and sprays. But I want to control the water. So I like to have the one where I don't mind pressing it a couple of times to get the amount that I want. Now I'm just connecting it to where I started. Oh, I just painted my hair a little bit. There we go. I'll thin that out a little bit. I'm over here. This got a little too dark. So like I said, as long as it stays wet, I can add water and just push it. And that kind of lightened it up, softened it up. It's just such a soft look. Almost makes it look vintagey. Did you use your sandpaper before and after the polka dots? I mean, no, that is just dry brushing. I did that with some dry brushing. I did it with my chip brush. This one. This I got from Harbor Freight. I love their chip brushes. Super cheap. And when you're done with them, just chunk. When they get too far gone, you just chunk them. They're real cheap. I have yet to have to chunk one, but it's done its job. All right, so we've got that. Let's add a little bit of, okay, so we need to add a little bit of visual interest, some shading to these leaves. I think we're going to use the same color. And if you're looking for all the paint colors, just put the word mason jar down in the comments and I'll come back after the live and I'll give you the exact names of everything. I'll give you the exact names of everything. Okay. Just adding a little bit of shadow to each leaf. Just kind of, there we go. Go. Let's see. I feel like this one needs to be softened up a little bit. So we're just going to pass. Go. Let me get my baby wipe and clean this little flower up a little bit. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. I'm going to do this leaf first because it sits behind. And it'll be easier to get that one done without having to, you know, repaint it. Add a little bit more paint to my brush. Oh, it's just, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I feel like that one does need a little bit more. It just needs to be deepened up just a little bit more. Instead of changing colors, I'm doing a second pass. And it deepen. If you let it dry, it'll deepen up because you're adding opacity to it. Let's see. What else? We need to shade. I normally would like pop these off of the background, but I don't want to dirty up. I don't want to distract. There goes the mosquito hawk. I don't want to distract from this shading down here. I'm trying to debate. Do I want to do this? Let me look. Let me look at it through the lens here. No, I think I want to leave it alone. I don't think I'm going to pop them up off of the background. I normally would. I don't think I want to with this one. This one's kind of whimsical, so it doesn't have to be super, super duper realistic. We're going to go with, how do I want to do this? I'm going to take the gray that I painted with. I'm going to add a couple of drops of black to it. I don't want to use black to shade this gray. This gray is way too light. But I do want to use a deeper color to do the shading. So I'm going to just make a charcoal gray. Mosquito hawks are bane of my existence. Ugh. They're such a good bug, but they drive me crazy. And this is the time of the year where they're just like, hey, remember me? I hate them. I hate them. All right. Now let's do this and load our brush. We're just going to add a little bit. Look at that. Look at this side versus this side. Oh, I love it. No, because it's inside. Look at you looking out for me. Look at you, Terry. Terry's coming up with the reasons why. She's like, look, I got your back. I know you don't want to, so I'm going to give you a legit reason of why you don't have to. That's a real paint sister there. Okay. I'm going to turn it sideways so that I can get a better angle on this. Oh, I think the chicken finally went on the grill. I can hear it sizzling. Oh, I love you, Terry. I truly do love you. Oh no, what happened here? What happened, y'all? Somehow I splattered gray paint everywhere. Thank God that is paint and not paint pen. I must have bumped my brush on something and it just it looked like splatter paint. Okay, I'm going to dry my brush off a little bit. There we go. There we go. Oh, so beautiful. It's beautiful. Just a little bit of shadow. I like to do a little heavier on curved edges because it makes it look like it's wrapping around. The shadow is wrapping around. So that's a little tidbit. Now, one thing that you can do, sorry, didn't mean to bump you. One thing you can do is you can add some ridges here if you want. I don't think I am. I think I'm going to leave it flat. I am going to add a little bit of highlight, but I'm not going to add the threads. You know, on a mason jar lid, there's threads. I'm not going to add that this time. Again, because we did so much down here, there's got to be balance, okay? You don't want every single thing to have pattern or busyness. You need to have some places for your eyes to rest. This isn't anything that you do. This isn't anything that you design. You've got to have some places where your eyes can rest, reset, and then look on to something exciting and new, and really take in all the things. If everything has a busy pattern on it, it's overwhelming and it's chaotic and it causes mental anxiety, right? So what I think I'm going to do is I am going to add a little bit of highlight. There's different ways I like to add highlight. We're going to add it kind of similar situation as our shading. We're just going to kind of with water and a little bit of white paint. Just with water and a little bit of white paint. Not a lot, because we don't want this to be overwhelming. We don't want it to be too distracting. Oh, I see how I did it. I'm over here like loading my brush and it's flicking paint, and it just happened to have flicked gray paint. So let's see. Up here, we're going to put just a little bit of in the curve. A little bit of white. Raylin, what are you getting? Some juice?
Yes, juice.
What kind of juice?
Orange juice.
Graham soaked our chicken in orange juice.
I need milk.
You need milk?
Yeah, there's not a lot. Then they'll have to use small ones.
Okay, a little white. This is totally skippable. You do not have to do this. Okay, but I like to add a little bit of highlight. That's not distracting. And I'm adding it where the threads would be. They would be dark. I'm just adding them. Just to add a little bit of visual, something for our eyes to kind of rest on, but not be too busy. There we go. I think I do want a little bit in the leaves. Again, nothing too heavy, nothing too stark white. I'm going to turn this right side up so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm doing here. Okay. I'm just going to, we need to spritz it. Our messy painting does a good bit of this for us, but if we want to over exaggerate the highlight, we can add a little bit of white here with our water and our brush, and it just kind of hazes that over. Just kind of gives a nice little glaze, nice little highlight. Let's do this one over here. It's barely there, but it does make a difference. But again, totally a skippable step, okay? Do not feel pressured into this if this is totally outside of your comfort zone. If it is, then now you know where you want to practice. Hey, Roxana. Roxana just threw a big old paint party at her house last night. It was a Valentine's themed one. And her husband helped her with it. They did it together. I mean, in a way that almost, it was so cute. In a way, you would almost think that it's a Valentine's date painting, painting together as a Valentine's date as you teach other people who are on a Valentine's date painting. I have thought about that all day, Roxana, and I'm just saying, oh, how precious. Graham Wallace would never. Okay. Ooh, I just love it. Okay, so again, this is the same process as adding the shadows. I'm just adding white instead for the highlight. I don't want to do any on my flowers because I really do like the way they look and I don't want to overdo it. But there we go. Okay, so that's that in a nutshell is our painting for tonight. Let me show you why I did this one, okay? This right here is a garland piece. Over in the paint studio, we paint a door hanger, an attachment, and a 6-piece garland, but sometimes you don't have anywhere to put a garland. Well, if you take these, they could be ornaments. There's so many different ways that you could use these little 6 pieces, 6 inches. And look at that. Look at that right there. How cute would this be as an interchangeable for the little, almost like an ornament size? Because this hello there is kind of bulky. Now, if you were to get this with no words on it, you could do an attachment size. So you could do something this big. Obviously, this one doesn't go, right? Totally different color scheme. But like you could do something more bulky. But because we have really bulky letters, an ornament or a garland size, this is about a 6-inch. And this would be super cute to kind of display as an interchangeable all the little pieces that you have laying around that you may not want to use as a garland. Most people do want to use it as a garland, but maybe you don't want that particular one as a garland. Maybe you just want a couple of ornaments and an interchangeable. So we've got that one. Let's see. Oh, this one is a flower. See, look, that's a bigger 6-inch. It's more of it is as wide as it is tall. So it looks a little bigger. This one's a little bit wider than it is as tall. Like this one's definitely shorter. So like, let's see, do I have another garland set over here? No, I think I was a good girl and I put everything up last week. And I think this is the only one because it was still Valentine's Day. So I had this one laid out like a scatter, like a table scatter over here. And I love doing that. Like if I don't do it as a garland, I'll either make them into ornaments, I'll make them into a table scatter, I'll put them as a shelf decor, or I'll make it an interchangeable for an interchangeable base. How cute. I love it. Okay. If you enjoyed painting this with me tonight, I encourage you to come hang out with me again next week for our free virtual paint party. It's going to be all week long from the 19th through the 23rd. And yes, the replays will be available as long as Facebook allows it, right? This is a free design. So if you would like to snag this, put the word mason jar down in the comments and I will link where you can download the free JPEG and printable template. I will also link where if you would like to get a wooden blank, you could get a wooden blank as well. And I will also link everything involved in today's tutorial as well so that you can find the blanks, the design, the color list. Like I said, the word mason jar down in the comments. It'll give you the buffet of links and colors of everything that we mentioned tonight. And until next time, I'll see you then. Bye.